The first thing I found wasn't the forged will. It wasn't the stolen money. It was $800 a month, going to a woman named Danielle, someone I'd never heard of in my life. But I should back up. Way up. My mom, Linda, was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's at 63. I'm the middle kid. Nate is 4 years older. Derek is 2 years younger. I teach 10th grade English at a public school in Columbus. I coach debate. I spend my Sundays grading 5-paragraph essays about the Great Gatsby. I was not equipped to become a full-time caregiver on top of all that, but that's what happened anyway. For 2 years, I managed Mom's medications, her appointments, her meals, her finances, her 2 a.m. wandering where she'd try to leave through the back door in her nightgown. I stopped seeing friends. I stopped sleeping through the night. I started fantasizing about checking into, like, a holiday in alone for one weekend just to stare at a wall, which made me feel like the worst daughter alive. So when Nate moved back to Columbus in January 2024 and offered to take over the financial side, I didn't think twice. I handed him the login credentials, the checkbook, the power of attorney paperwork, all of it. I felt nothing but relief. First time in months, I slept past 5. I didn't look at a single bank statement for the next year and a half, which, yeah, looking back, that was the mistake that broke everything. Mom passed on March 11th, 2025, a Tuesday, the worst one. At the reading of the will, and I remember this so clearly, there was a water stain on the ceiling of the attorney's office shaped like Florida. The document wasn't the one her longtime attorney had drafted. This version came through a lawyer named Craig Delmore, someone none of us had ever met. It left everything to Nathan James Whitfield. The house, the accounts, all of it. I called him a thief in front of the attorney. He looked me dead in the eye and said Mom had changed her mind because I'd been neglecting her. That word, neglecting, it hit different because part of me believed it. For 2 weeks, I didn't contest anything. I sat in Mom's house grading essays and thought maybe I deserved to lose everything because I'd been too burned out to be the daughter she needed. Then Rosa called. Rosa was Mom's home health aide. She showed up at my door. I think it was 4 days after the funeral, maybe 5, crying. She told me Nate used to send her out of the room whenever papers needed signing. Mom would seem confused after, sometimes upset. Rosa had wanted to say something for months, but was afraid she'd lose her job. She said, "I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner." I said, I should have been paying attention. That's when I started digging. It took weeks to get access, because Nate had changed every password, every single one. And what I found wasn't the clear-cut villain story I was bracing for. The first thing that jumped out wasn't spending on himself. It was a recurring transfer, $800 every month to a woman named Danielle. My first thought was affair, then blackmail. I spent 3 weeks tracking her down, running her name through every connection I could think of, even those sketchy people search websites. Danielle is our half-sister. Our dad had an affair in the late 90s. Mom knew. She'd been sending Danielle money quietly for decades before the Alzheimer's made her forget. Nate found this when he took over the finances and just kept the payments going without telling Derek or me. And that kind of scrambled everything, because woven between those payments to Danielle were the transfers Nate made for himself. He'd been funneling money into a custody fight for his son, Illy. His ex had filed in family court right around the time he moved back to Columbus, and he was hemorrhaging cash to a family attorney, almost $30,000. There was also a security deposit and first month on a 2-bedroom apartment, the kind of place a judge would approve for overnight visits with a 4-year-old. He stole from our dying mother to get his kid back. And the thing that messes me up is that if he just asked, I probably would have said yes. Mom would have said yes. She adored Illy. She used to buy him those little Hot Wheels cars every time she went to Target, even after she'd forgotten most other things. Now here is where everything changed. If you are into stories like this, subscribe. We post daily. But he didn't ask. He forged her will instead. He had a woman who couldn't remember my name's signed documents that disinherited her other 2 children. And he padded the rest with stuff I can't make excuses for: fishing trips, cash withdrawals with no paper trail, charges at restaurants in cities he had no reason to be in. I filed everything with the county prosecutor. Rosa gave her statement. Mom's original attorney, Patricia, confirmed Mom never mentioned changing her will, and was never evaluated for testamentary capacity before signing the new one. By October 2024, Mom was calling the TV remote the clicker thing for the pictures. She thought I was her sister Helen some days. Nate was arrested in May on 3 felony counts: elder abuse through financial exploitation, forgery, and fraud. He's not taking a plea. His attorney argues Mom was competent when she signed. The trial is set for July, which means I'll sit in a courtroom and testify against my own brother about every detail of our mother's decline. Every word she forgot, every time she didn't recognize me. I'll have to lay all that out in front of strangers, while Nate sits 15 feet away. Derek keeps telling me I'm doing the right thing. I know he's right, but some nights I lie there thinking about Nate sending Danielle that $800 a month, honoring a secret our mother kept for 30 years, and then in the same bank account, funding a custody battle with money from a woman who couldn't remember her own children's names. Both of those things are my brother. I don't know what to do with that. I called Danielle last month. She didn't know about any of this. She thought the payments were still coming from Mom. She cried on the phone and asked if Linda suffered. I told her Mom died peacefully, which was true. I didn't tell her about the rest. Couldn't figure out what it would accomplish. Nothing is resolved. The will is in probate. I still live in Mom's house. I repainted her bedroom in the sage green she always talked about but never got around to. Some mornings, I sit on the porch with my coffee, and I swear I can almost hear her humming in the kitchen. She used to hum this one hymn. I can never remember the name of it. I don't know how this ends, but I know it started the day I was too exhausted to ask my brother a single question about where the money was going. And no verdict is going to fix that part.